Hey, everybody, and welcome to a Wednesday. We got a jam packed show here today. We're going to talk about ratings, we're going to talk about Lou Holtz, we're going to talk about wrestling, which is NBC sinking cash into it. Fox is not. And we'll tell you what Fox is thinking about with regard to how do they program, now that they lost wrestling on Friday night, all through the weekend. So all kinds of fun stuff. Let us get started with. That's right. We'll talk Coach Prime. Despite the lopsided score, ABC's telecast of Colorado's 42-6 loss to Oregon on Saturday averaged 10.3 million viewers, according to Sports Media Watch. That's the second best rated college football game this week, only outdone, and not by much, to be honest, by Notre Dame and Ohio State. So once again, the prime effect is there, and it is there big time. So ABC benefited by the fact that they had Colorado and, of course, Oregon, and Oregon just took them to the woodshed. So that was a good score for Colorado and Oregon. Now let's be clear too. In fairness, the Colorado Oregon game was much earlier on Saturday. So the fact that they got beat in a primetime game against, with two marquee programs in Ohio State and Notre Dame is just goes to prove that even though, Prime has, the Colorado team got beat, that fans continue to watch. So that's a definite plus for both ABC, Colorado, the Pac-12, and obviously Oregon, because Oregon did defeat them decisively. So there you go. All right, let's move on. All right, this month's NFL on CBS broadcasts have averaged 18.69 million viewers. That's the network's best September in 13 years. Okay, so the NFL on CBS is doing well. I'm sure that we'll get numbers that are pretty much the same from Fox here later today. Without question, we know that the number one show on television last week was none other than the Sunday Night Football game on NBC. All right. What we do know now is that the Chiefs Bears was the most watched of any NFL game this week, averaging 24.3 million viewers on Fox. Okay, so a lot of people watching the Bears, the Chiefs, Taylor Swift. So there you go. That's a definite plus from that standpoint. So as we can see, CBS has done well, in their first couple weeks, and now Fox obviously benefits by the NFL, which averaged 24.3 million for the game there. Now Thursday night's Giants 49ers game on Amazon averaged 13.92 million viewers. That's the second most ever watched on Prime. It also won the night on linear, which it beat linear. It beat the over-the-air channels and the cable channels, and all everything else. So Amazon has to be pleased with what they're doing. That's the second week in a row they've had a good number. And let's be honest. Okay, fine. San Francisco and New York are two of the top five markets. There's no question about that. However, to get to 13, you can't depend just on those two markets. So nationally, people are finding Prime, and they're finding the football games. So that's not a bad situation. Viewership on Thursday Night Football on Amazon is up 21% over the last 2 weeks over last season. So there you go, boys and girls. There you go. We will get moving back here for just a second. But real quick, today, Major League Baseball, the games in the pennant chase. You've got Arizona and the White Sox. That's a 2:10 p.m. game this afternoon. That's going to be on MLB Network. So we'll get to see, keep an eye on Arizona. Miami, that's a game with the Mets. That game's not going to be nationally televised, but it is going to be a crucial game because they have a doubleheader going on up in Flushing Meadows. The other games that have interest from a standpoint of the pennant chase is the Chicago Cubs and the Atlanta Braves. That's the 7:20 start. Um, Obviously, the Cubs need to get moving because they want to make the playoffs and in the wild card situation, and they've got that chance. But they have to go through Atlanta, which is no easy task. So that's tonight's early game, and then the late game on MLB Network is going to be Houston Seattle. That's a crucial game. First pitch on that is 9:40 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, so there you go in what's the pennant race situation for today. We also have MLS tonight, and obviously it's on Apple as well as the season pass. Philadelphia and Dallas, Miami, big game at Houston. That game is on, is on. It's 8:30. It's on CBS Sports Network and Telemundo. Okay, Apple TV free is the Philadelphia Dallas game 7:30. The 8:30 Miami game is on CBS Sports Network and Telemundo, as well as, of course, League Pass on Apple. Colorado, that's another 9 o'clock start with Vancouver. Again, that's an Apple TV free game. And also the game tonight, which is LAFC taking on Tigres. That game is an Apple TV game. It's also on MLS Season Pass. So those are your 4 games tonight. Obviously, the most exciting ones with the marquee situation as to whether or not Lionel Messi will play. That's the 8:30 game against Houston. That game can be seen on CBS Sports Network and Telemundo. Okay, now if you don't get CBS Television Network, okay, CBSN, what you need to do is download the CBS Sports app. It's in the app. You can go in and watch the game on the app. Okay, so if for some reason your cable company streaming group or whatever chooses not to carry CBS Sports Network, the hack to get it is just download the CBS Sports app, which, by the way, is a very good app in and to itself. Go ahead and do that. Then authenticate yourself in there, which is not tough to do. It takes 5 minutes, and you will be able to watch Miami and Houston tonight. We'll get to see if Lionel Messi makes it or doesn't. We'll find out soon enough. So that's tonight. That's your MLS score situation over there. Okay. All right, here we go. Next up is we're seeing that in market, we know that there's going to be some basketball and there's going to be some hockey teams that have taken over their rights because of the problems with Bally's and Diamond Sports, who was the parent company of Bally's, have gone into bankruptcy. So right now, if you are a fan of the Vegas Knights, they have built an opportunity and a way to do this. The streaming service will offer 69 regular season games, and of course, there's going to be some of those on free television in the Vegas area. So, if you're a Vegas Knights fan, okay, you can just go direct to consumer and buy that package, which is 69 games. It's $70, so it's basically 60. It's basically $1 a game for Nighttime Plus. That's what it's called, Nighttime Plus. It's the in the market opportunity to watch the games. And so if you're out there in southern Nevada or very eastern California or anywhere in that southwest area, in the desert area, you're going to be able to get that. So check it out if you're a fan of the Las Vegas Golden Knights. We're in preseason so far. You can watch some preseason games, which they're giving you for free. So if you're in Vegas, it's Nighttime Plus, it's a streaming service, and you can find it. So just go to your, the Vegas Knights homepage, and they've got all the information on what to do. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Scripps is expanding its sports presence as Warner Brothers Discovery exists in the regional sports business while Diamond faces troubles. So basically, look for Scripps to be more aggressive at adding sports. Okay, they have a history of doing sports in their specific region. They're based in Cincinnati, Ohio. So my suggestion would be, keep an eye on Scripps. They definitely are going to be a player in what goes on from a standpoint of working with teams in the markets that they are involved with, basically doing some sort of baseball, basketball, or hockey. So they're going to be your regional outlet in many cities in the not too distant future. So keep an eye on Scripps and what Scripps is going to do as they are working with regional sports teams to get them on those local stations. So that's good news if you're in a Scripps market. Okay, offward and onward. Fox appears to be choosing live sports over scripted entertainment after ending its 5-year billion-dollar run with World Wrestling. All right, here's the deal. What Fox decided to do is go ahead and basically forget adding wrestling. Okay, that went to NBC. What they're doing is they've spent money on the Pac-12, on the Big 12, on the Big 10. Okay, now obviously the Pac is going away at the end of the season, but follow us here. They will have, and oh, by the way, they have the Big East in basketball. All right, so here's what you got. They will start beginning the process of migrating a Friday night football game from one of those conferences every Friday night. Then once football season is over, we will begin to see basketball. And they'll do a basketball game on a Friday night. They'll do a basketball game on a Saturday night. And then they'll do a basketball game on Sunday night from the college standpoint. So they're going to take all the information and all the content that they already have, that they've already paid for, and they're going to use it in prime time Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, so keep a lookout for Fox to do that. We will obviously do the same for you, making sure that you understand that there's going to be some changes here. Okay, so keep an eye out on Fox. I think it's a good move. I mean, from a standpoint of there's no reason for them to spend any more money because they already have a ton of college content. So they're going to go with the college content. They're going to let the wrestling situation go to NBC. And basically seems like everybody's happy for that. So as I said before, here's what you're looking for. Fox will use college football and basketball to program their Friday through Sunday night prime time slots. Okay? All right? Okay. Okay. Now, yesterday we talked about Lee Corso and some comments that he made on game day. All right? And we said that, look, he's not throwing shade one way or the other. It's just that, he likes to shoot off the cuff. And, as I said before, you can't have a nicer, easier guy to get along with than Lee Corso. He's been a great addition to college sports for a number of years. So don't hate on Lee. However, somebody who has been outspoken and not necessarily as nice is former college and pro coach and the last coach to win a championship at Notre Dame. That would be, of course, Lou Holtz. Now, if you remember on Saturday, actually it was a little before Saturday, it was a Friday afternoon, he was on Pat McAfee's show. Shout out to Pat. Hope he's doing well. Anyway, he Holtz boldly said that he didn't think that Ohio State was an elite program. Didn't, from a standpoint of their football team this year, they're not one of the elite teams. He questioned their ability to play defense. He questioned a number of things about them. Well, that didn't sit well. I mean, as you might, it's Ryan Day who coaches uh, Ohio State was not pleased at all. So, as fate would have it, if you watch the game, you know that Ryan called him out on national television on NBC. So, you know, what does Holtz do? Rather than basically saying, "Hey, look, what I said was something that, fire my team up. I wanted to get Notre Dame fired up. I wanted to, you know, to win. I wanted to see them win. So I said what I said." Okay. However, that's not how Lou handled it. He basically doubled down. He basically said that, you know, again, that they're a well coached team. They've got talented athletes. But, there's always a but with Lou. And that is, they're not as good as, Oregon or Washington or a number of teams that he shouted out. Now, I'm going to, honestly, I agree with Coach Holtz in so much as I think Washington and Oregon would beat Ohio State, handily. However, you know, you got to watch what you say. You're given bulletin board material. Now, Coach Holtz, after praising Coach Day and his Ohio State Buckeyes, then saying they weren't quite up to the competition, here's where the double down came. Instead of just leaving it at that, he said, "Well, he's talking about me. That's because he doesn't want to talk about Penn State and Michigan because those are games that he could very well lose." And of course, Day, being why not? Let's keep the party going. Day in his situation was saying, "Well, wait a minute. You can. A lot of people hate on Ohio State, and I guess now Lou Holtz is one of them. But I'm defending my kids. These kids play great ball, and I'm not going to listen to this old man tell me that that's the way it goes." So there's a little bit of a rivalry between Ryan Day, the coach of Ohio State, and Lou Holtz, the former coach of Notre Dame, and it's really been a bit of a crazy time with those two guys banging around, just talking. Here's a quick note. What I said about our team, is what he said about our team. I cannot believe, that this is a tough team right now. We're proud of Ohio State. And we are, as it always has been, according to Ryan Day, Ohio against the world. Okay, wouldn't exactly go that far with regards to it, Ryan, but yeah, whatever you can do to fire up your team, I get it. I mean, you should do it. I mean, that's a fun thing to do. It's a good thing to do. Should Lou Holtz have kept his mouth shut? I don't know if you've ever been around Lou Holtz, but he can't. So, the thing with Holtz is he has no filter. Okay, whatever. If you ask him a question, please understand that he's going to answer it. He's not going to answer it politically correct. He's going to answer it. And so what he said, he's not backing down from it. He's not backing down from his criticism. It's kind of an odd thing. He backhandedly complimented, then he criticized them again. So this Holtz and Ryan Day thing's going to go on for a while. Do I think it's entertaining? Yes. Do I think it has anything to do with how either of those teams play? No. I don't think they give a damn about whether or not Lou Holtz likes him, dislikes him, or whatever. But it does make for good, fodder for Ryan Day and for him to pit the Ohio State Buckeyes against the world. Don't think it's been that way, Ryan, but okay, if you're going to glom onto that, go for it. All right, now, sad news, and that, of course, is that we had the passing of one of the truly nice men and one of the most talented ever to play baseball, of course, and that would be Brooks Robinson. Now, Jim Palmer was a teammate of Brooks Robinson. He also was a broadcast partner of Brooks. They were together for a number of years doing the Orioles broadcasts. And last night, Jim Palmer was calling the game on Masson. And, when they ran the tribute to Brooks, of course, Palmer, being a good friend and former teammate and broadcast partner for Brooks Robinson, broke down, and it was very tough for him. He says, I think young players make a decision early in life. Who do I want to emulate? And Brooks was that guy. I mean, so Palmer was visibly upset about the passing of one of his teammates, one of his friends, and one of his broadcast partners. And we will all miss Brooks. Brooks, as I said before, great guy, very gentle guy, man, of someone who signed autographs and took pictures and never had, a moment of hesitation to do it. And he will be missed. And we've got guys like Jim Palmer and others who have, who will remember him over the coming days. And of course, on social media, we've seen a lot of that. So, without question, it's really good to look back now on the life of Brooks Robinson, someone who incredibly talented on the field, but even more talented as a human being off the field. And so, rest in peace, Brooks. We wish you and we wish the family nothing but good thoughts about Brooks Robinson, a truly wonderful guy. All right, moving on. Come on, it wouldn't be a show without Taylor Swift, right? I mean, you've got to talk about it. Kevin Burkhardt on Calling the Game with Taylor Swift. Now, Kevin, if you don't know, is the Fox lead broadcaster. And, he was asked, what are we going to do with regard to, the Taylor Swift situation, because she's in the building. So Kevin said on Calling the Game with Taylor Swift in attendance, we just had fun with it. I thought we had fun, didn't overdo it. It was something that we enjoyed. So, yeah, I think, look, Kevin handled it perfectly, as did Fox. I mean, the game is the most important aspect of it. The fact that Taylor Swift was at the game is a nice little sidebar, but it's not the reason you're tuning in to watch the game. Well, all that's true. The Swifties might, but that was a big, good game, big game. So, and Travis Kelce actually caught a touchdown pass in it. So, anyway, I think it was fascinating. I think Kevin did the job. I mean, yes, Taylor Swift's in the building, but the most important thing that we can talk about right now has to do with what is on the field, not what is in the in the luxury boxes. Okay, so good on the fact that Taylor Swift was in town to watch the Chiefs, and good on Kevin for doing a solid job of doing that. So there you go. A little bit of everything for that. Alrighty. On Friday, USA Today published a report detailing how Texas and Oklahoma had worked out a settlement to lessen their financial blow in their exit to the SEC. Okay, so part of the agreement was that the schools will receive an unspecified transition payment from ESPN, which is entering, of course, their $3 billion 10-year deal with the Southeastern Conference, their broadcast partner. So what does this mean? Well, it means that in the transition from the Big 12 to the SEC, there was money paid out, which we don't know how much, by ESPN to make certain that they could get out, they being Texas and Oklahoma, to begin this season of 2024. Okay. So what did they do? Well, they basically being ESPN, basically gave them we'll call it a signing bonus to ease things along to get them into the conference. Okay, so that is how it worked. And we'll find out, I'm sure, in the coming days how exactly that worked, what exactly it means now for, for the future. So there's a ton of questions here without answers. Okay, we'll get more into it, but we needed to just make it, it's being talked about constantly about, what did ESPN do, what didn't they do. It Think of it in many ways as an advance. Okay, it's a signing bonus, it's an advance, it's whatever you want to call it. We don't know how much money it was. We don't know if they used it, they meaning Texas or Oklahoma, used that money to help bail themselves out of the Big 12. All of that is being put together right now. Strongly recommend buddy Dennis Dodd from CBS Sports. Dennis and the folks at CBSSports.com have a fantastic handle and grasp on this, and they're following it as they do everything, whether it be professional or college. But check out Dennis's reporting on this, and he's nailed it. All right, cool. Okay, Robbie Hummel is moving to Fox from NBC, and there's a good reason for it. He will be now on the Fox broadcasts as a play-by-play guy, and it's a good plan. Andrew Marchand, friend of the show, and the New York Post reported Monday that veteran ESPN analyst Robbie Hamill will continue calling Big Ten men's basketball games, now for Fox and not for NBC. NBC doesn't have those games, which is why. He's also going to call some Big Ten basketball games for Fox as well as the Big Ten Network. So if you're a Robbie Hamill fan, by all means, you're good. You're going to have no problem whatsoever following him because he's going to call the games on Fox and on the Big Ten Network. So good on Robbie. He's not going anywhere. Fans of Robbie's can see him, without any problems. Okay. All right. So let's just take a few questions here from our Twitter universe, and let's get to the first one. And okay. All right. The third counselor. What do you got for us? Baylor, Kansas State, TCU, Central Florida are in the mix for the title. This season has been disappointing, but there are several good teams, in addition to Utah, with the potential of perennial goodness. Okay. This is a reaction to a tweet I had earlier in the day where I said that Utah would, when they entered the conference, the Big 12, next year would be, one of the power teams in the conference, mainly because when Texas and Oklahoma do leave, there really is a void there. I mean, Baylor and Kansas State, TCU, Central Florida are in the mix. Yeah, I don't think I never said they weren't. But what I did say, and I agree with, many of the pundits on this one, is Utah is a better team than Baylor, Kansas State, TCU, and Central Florida. Now, very now, okay? And for some time to come. So if Kansas and Kansas State, Baylor and TCU, and Central Florida are going to, be the teams that, third council seems to think they're going to be, then good on them. But I don't see them right now anywhere near the talent that Utah has. I mean, so, again, good on all of those schools. I didn't say anything bad about them. I just said they're not as good as Utah. And, that's not just me talking, okay? That's an absolute and total fact. Baylor, Kansas State, TCU, and Central Florida are not in the top 25 in the in either the ESPN poll or any of them. So guys, I mean, it's not disrespectful to Baylor, Kansas State, TCU, and Central Florida. It's a fact. At this point in time, the best team, one of the best teams in Pac-12, and unquestionably would be one of the best teams, in the Big 12. They're even better than Oklahoma. So right now, the only team that could probably, lay claim to that obviously is Texas. So, guys, don't take it so seriously, and number two, I'm right, you're wrong. For now, I can be wrong. We'll see. All right. Larry Pilgrim. Larry Pilgrim, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. Utah had the fourth string and third string quarterbacks. What madness! Missing their quarterback, Cam Rising, by the way, in case you don't know, and their top receiver, their center, their linebacker, their defensive end, and tackle, and rotation of running backs. Still was able to beat UCLA. Now, UCLA is very young, and they're really good, but they're not good enough yet. They're going to be good, but they're not good yet. Now, they could be good by the end of the year, but that is not the situation right now. So, interesting. And you're right, Larry. I mean, look at all the people that Utah's missing, yet they still are undefeated and have a shot at a third Pac-12 championship. So don't rule them out, but we'll see. Baylor had a backup quarterback and is the worst team in the Big 12. Stop the madness, okay? Well, guess what? I'm not stopping the madness. There's no team in the Big 12 other than Texas or Oklahoma, which are leaving for the Southeastern Conference right now, that can, in any way, shape, or form, beat Utah. Guys, I mean, come on. You know that. I'm sure. You know what? Look, like I said, am I right? Often? Sometimes. Am I wrong in this case? Not yet. Prove me wrong, boys. All you have to do is win. That'll do it. Razor blades and napalm, which is, whoa, combination there. He says sleeping. I guess that's in a reference to my note that said that Utah was a sleeping giant, and frankly, they aren't a sleeping giant. They're really good, but I just wanted to put sleeping giant to make it seem as if people are not necessarily those in the Big 12 are not thinking about what's going to happen in a year from now when that team is there. Okay, so it is what it is, right? Okay, what do we got? Well, hey, Larry again. Larry Pilgrim, another question. Went to the wire against Baylor, a team at home, in 130 degrees, wounded animal mode. Once Utah decided to push the ball, they got 2 TDs, and they were able to do it with their third string guys. All right, so I guess Larry's on my side at this point, which is good. I always like Larry on my side. He's a good guy. All right, GFC. Big time Wazoo fan. The Big 12 is weak without Texas and Oklahoma. Utah will run the table immediately. Give Colorado 2 years if Prime stays, and they may pass the torch. Okay, well, so look, first of all, I applaud you for agreeing with me. That's very kind of you. Secondly, whether they're going to run the table or not, they might. I'm talking about Utah now. Give Colorado 2 years with Prime. Look, I don't see Deion leaving Colorado anytime before his contract's up, and that's 4 years from now. I'm not a Colorado hater. I like Colorado. I like Deion. Here's where, there's going to have to be some things go right. So far, Deion has done an outstanding job. He's bringing in coaches. He's bringing in players. We got to the effect that the Prime effect, which proved that we're now 4 weeks into the college football season, and they've won, meaning the ratings race. They've won it 3 out of the 4 and came in second in the 4th week. So not exactly, they're doing really well from a TV standpoint, which can translate look, into doing well in the field too. So, do I think that 2 years from now, Colorado will be as good as Utah? Maybe, but it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. That's for sure. If nothing else, we've seen that. All right. 3-2 to GLS. Okay, that's just what the handle is. Sleeping Giant, huh? Okay, I guess he doesn't like the Sleeping Giant concept. Who else besides Utah in the Big 12 after Oklahoma and Texas leave? Who is going to take that? Who's going to beat them? You know, that was my premise. I said that I don't think anybody's going to beat them. A sleeping giant. I use that term, guys. It's a term. Okay. Who said they're sleeping? They're two-time defending Pac-12 champions. Guys, again, you're missing the point. The point is, I think they're going to be good. Sleeping, non-sleeping, whatever, deal with it. I'm just saying, that was a terminology, turn of phrase that I used. It doesn't mean any disrespect. I mean, if I was disrespectful to Utah, why would I even include them in the best team? Saying that they're the best team in the Big 12. That makes zero sense. But all right, fine. Good enough. Pimp Dog, how you doing, Pimp Dog? Okay. Not sure so sleepy about it. With Oklahoma and Texas out the door, they become the big dog right off the bat. I agree. I absolutely 100% agree. Okay, so that's true. Okay, so we got no beef here, buddy. Pimp Dog, I'm on your side. What you got, JJ? All right, here's what JJ got. They have won Power Conference championships. I think they are fully awake and not anyone is underestimating. Okay. Mike Lee says that Utah's going to be undefeated every year. I wouldn't go that far. Because come on. I'm saying they're going to be the best in the Big 12 conference. That doesn't mean that there's not teams that can beat them there. It just means that they should be probably favored in every game they play. Doesn't mean they're going to win every game they're going to play. Okay, so guys, I'm liking Utah as a perennial team favorite in the conference. Not saying other teams can't beat them, because they can. Alrighty, righty. If you ask Kyle Whittingham, Utah is poised to take over the NFC West. Went down to the wire in Waco this year against arguably a worse team in the Big Ten. Pump the brakes, Jimmy. Okay, Dolly. I'll pump the brakes. All I'm saying is, look, everybody's gonna have a bad game. Could Baylor beat Utah? Yeah, of course they could beat Utah. The point was, guys, that right now the number one team, if the moving parts would be the same, if you took them out of the Pac-12, put them in the Big 12, they would be the third best team, because Texas and Oklahoma, maybe the second best team in the conference. You take Oklahoma and Texas out of there, which is going to happen next year, and they're still going to be the best team. So, Dolly, you're pushing that the reason they went down to the wire was, Waco and Baylor's one of the worst teams. Okay, fine. You can hate on Baylor all you want to. But at the end of the day, I will pump my brakes, but I don't think it's going to make any difference. Utah's the best team in the Big 12 today if they were to be there in the Big 12. They're not there yet. Okay. David Moore, how are you, buddy? When you have the top-ranked and eighth-ranked national media markets involved, you're typically going to get those numbers, okay? He's now talking about the football game. Yeah, I mean that's fair, but David, just just because the media markets are big doesn't necessarily get numbers. Okay, I mean I can show you how that how ratings work, and ratings, having the top markets are good, but it doesn't always translate into to good Nielsen ratings, and for sure when it comes to a streaming situation. Yeah, you had the Giants and you had the 49ers playing on Thursday Night Football, but at the end of the day, guys, somebody still had to stream it, and it wasn't on your regular television set. So my point, David, is that they are doing well despite the fact that they're not on linear television. So there you go. Jason Watkins, my friends from Hall of Fame college football, wanted me to know that he's going to be doing a preview of Auburn and Georgia, which is going to take place between the hedges, and he's going to be doing it later today. So keep an eye out for Jason and Hall of Fame college football. Uh, he's a fantastic writer, and he's covered the Big 12 for many years, mainly Oklahoma, but Jason knows a lot about a lot of things, and his show is always entertaining. So by all means, check out his show, Georgia versus Auburn Preview 2023, and he's also going to throw in there a UAB preview. Interesting. Okay, so that's going to happen, tonight. So check out Jason, and he's got some fun. Also, check out tonight the Holy Rivals show. My buddies over there, the Big 12 Mafia gang, all good people, and they're going to be on tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and it's the Holy Rivals game podcast. They're going to talk about what's going on in the Big 12, and also what's going on in week 4 and 5 of the pack. So my boys, the Big 12 Mafia and Wild Ute will be doing that show tonight. So check out Big 12 Mafia and the Holy Rivals show. Always entertaining. Okie dokie dokie. Mafia says power rankings. Okay. Well, there we go. I'm in there too. Again, I appreciate that for our friends out there who do that at sportsmaster.com. Greatly appreciate always being in the top few. And who's just out of curiosity? Oh yeah, Big 12 Mafia's behind me. Sorry about that. Good job. Alicia Lang from ESPN, and Storm is going to be out there. Okay, so not bad. Right now, the only people ahead of me, Pat McAfee, he only makes $150 million more than I do. Jackie Redmond from Fox, Kevin Nehal from Fox, Lauren Shahadi from ESPN, Sierra Santos from MLB Network, Ken Middleton, of course, from ESPN, good buddy. Erin Andrews. Okay, well, Erin's a buddy. I've known her and her family since she was about 4 or 5 years old, back in the Tampa Bay area. So, anyway, that's enough of me looking at my own publicity. So, let's see what we got here. All right, one final question as I go down here trying to look it up. All right, and that question comes from Renee. So, Renee, what do you got for me? Stop the madness. Utah is not going to be the best team in the Big 12. Okay, I will stop that madness and just tell you that I believe that. And if you don't believe it, that's okay too. I mean, that's why they print menus. But let's just see. I mean, we'll see how it works out. It's not like it's not going to, like they're not going to play each other. So let's see how it works out. But guys, I do think Utah is going to be the best team in the Pac I'm sorry, the Big 12. They could be the best team in the pack this year. I mean, look, they are 4-0, and they haven't. And Cam Rising hasn't played a game yet. So, you know, it is what it is. Can't tell you otherwise. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. That's about the size of it, boys and girls. We don't have much going on. Let's hit a quick recap for you. Okay. MLB Network tonight. Keep an eye on it. They're going to be moving from game to game. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on. The race in both the American League and the National League for the wild card is going to be intense all the way down to Sunday's games probably. So keep an eye on MLB Network because they've got it all covered as they always do. All right, tomorrow. Tomorrow is, of course, is Thursday, and on Thursday we all know that it is, of course, Thursday night football, and I think that's going to be a big situation tonight. I'm sorry, tomorrow night with that whole situation. The Packers, the Lions are going to be playing that game. The Lions are 2-1. The Packers are 2-1. I think they're both, better than what most people thought they were going to be, and so that's going to be on, of course, Prime Video tomorrow night. You can stream it. I'm going right out on the limb and saying that Packers and the Lions game will probably be make it 3 games in a row where Prime has increased their their audience. So look out for that. There's something coming up Sunday that's very special. Okay, now it's the Falcons and the Jags. Okay, that game's being played in London, and you can only watch it on ESPN Plus. So if you're an ESPN Plus subscriber, then good on you. You can watch it. If you don't have ESPN Plus, I would strongly recommend just taking a free 7-day trial so you can watch the game. Now, Disney is taking the same thing that Paramount did when they, basically did the Nickelodeon deal, right? Where you've got kids can watch the game in a whole different perspective with cartoons and with all kinds of fun little special effects. It's fascinating. It's fascinating how they take the game and then they kind of like take the actual football game and make it kid friendly. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up is because Disney Plus is going to air the game as well, only they're going to air it with the concept of Paramount and the way they did that with Nickelodeon. So it's going to be a cool situation for the kids. So 9:30 a.m. on Sunday. So circle that 9:30 a.m. on Sunday. We'll talk a lot about it, more at a later time. But Disney Plus is going to have the cool thing for kids on. ESPN Plus is just going to have the game as it normally would be broadcast. Okay, so keep an eye out for that. That's something that might very well be a lot of fun. Okay, all right, gang. It's been fun here this morning. If you didn't have time to see the whole show or you missed it, don't worry about it. Just all you have to do is subscribe, hit the bell, and like us. Okay, simple enough. We'll be back at 2 o'clock with Amadeus and I talking about all things from a standpoint of who's playing who, wagering, all that fun stuff is going to come at 2 o'clock. And then once again tomorrow at 10 a.m. we'll be right back here talking about Thursday night football and Thursday night baseball. So the pennant race continues, as does college football, as does the NFL. And oh, by the way, we're going to be talking hockey here very soon because hockey has also started in that they're starting their spring, training and their exhibition games. And then this, we're not that far away from the NBA doing the same. So, thanks for watching. We will 100% be here tomorrow. Okay? Take care, everybody. See you at 2 or see you tomorrow.